Hi everyone. So in the last video we had a look on these basics of an input and output in the point of view of Arduino. So we will continue from that today. In this video. So now you have some idea about what is input and output. So these inputs and outputs, how they can be interfaced with Arduino is something we talked about using the Arduino's pins. So you connect that particular gadget to the pin. That's all. That's fine. So there's a question, there may be a question that can arise. Okay, so to input which pins I have to use, and for output which pin I have to use. It's a good question, right? Is there pins that are responsible? We know there are pins, input output pins. So is there separate pins that are responsible only for input, and is there separate pins that are responsible only for output? Okay, there can be a question, right? So if I have an input device, which pin I have to connect it? If I have an output device, which pin I have to connect it? Is there separation using input and output scenario? Fortunately or unfortunately, the answer is no. Okay, pins are common. Okay, in regard to the input and output, pins are common in regarding to the input and output. So where we differentiate between the input and output is in the code. For example, we can connect an input device to a pin, to a common pin, right? Because I said pins are common, to a common pin, and in the code, in that scenario, in the code we have to say it is an input device. So use the pin as an input pin. Use the pin for input purpose. After some time, you can remove that input device. You can connect an output gadget. Let's say you are connecting an LED or some other thing, some other output thing, to the same pin. This is possible. Now in that scenario, in the new code for this device, you have to mention this is output pin. You have to use this pin for output purpose, giving something. So first the pin is ready. At the initial state, the pin is ready for getting an input. And in the new state, the pin is ready to get an output, give an output, Okay, so that is mentioned in the code. So for example, if you are using a temperature sensor or any sensor with the pin, you are going to say, I'm going to use this pin as an input in the code. Okay, in the code you will say it. You will mention it. Okay, this scenario. Let's say you are going to use an output device, let's say an LED or a motor or alarm. In that case, I'm just saying an LED for an example, right? Or motor or any other output device. So in the code you will say output. So this Arduino will realize, okay, this particular pin is connected to an output device, and I am supposed to give an output. The user will tell, okay, the code will further tell what is the output we are going to give, but still for the moment we will initiate this is going to be used as an output pin. So be ready to give an output like that. Okay, is that clear to you guys up to now? I hope it is clear. Okay, hold it. So now if you take the Arduino, there are so many pins, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 up to 13 here, and it's going down, right? 14 15 blah 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 49 or something. There are so many pins. So any input device or output device, for the moment think like that. Okay, an input device or output device can be connected to any of the pin, and we can define it in the code. And there are few pins with the annotation A, not annotation, with the prefix of A, A1 A0 to A15, right? So these pins are little different from those pins, but still these pins can also be used as either an input pin or output pin. You connect a particular gadget to this, and you are telling in the code whether this particular gadget is an input gadget or output gadget, so that please be ready to either receive this input. If there is an input gadget, we will say, okay, I am connecting an input gadget, please be ready to receive an input. If there is an output gadget, you will again say, okay, I am going to give an output through this pin Arduino, which is Arduino this IC. Okay, this is where we program, right? So for this particular A0 or A10 pin, I am going to give an output, so be ready to give an output in that particular pin. So that differentiation we are doing in the code. I hope this is very very clear. That's fine. Okay, holding it that way. So you may ask now, what is this A0 A15 numbers? What is this? Nothing prefixed, just numbers. What is the difference? So to tell in simple words, these are for analog data processing, analog input output, and these are for digital data processing, normal numbers, digital input output. For the moment, just don't think about that. Just remember the pins of Arduino. That means any pins that have some numbers, right? A0, A1, A15, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 49, right? Can be used for any of the purpose input and output, and the differentiation happens only in the code. If you understand this much for the moment, this is enough. Please guys, remember, this is not the whole picture, but to go one step at a time, this is enough, right? So we will further see how we can use this analog pins and how we can use the digital pins. What are the restrictions, what are the possibilities, in which situation you have to go for an analog pin, in which situation you have to go for a digital pin. We will talk about those things later, and even what is analog and digital, we will look at that also later. Okay, so let's get into the code. Okay, so I said you may remember the differentiation happens in the code. I said you know, yes. So for the moment, let's think we are going to switch on an LED. Okay, so let's say we are going to connect an LED to a pin of the Arduino. Okay, so normally how we connect an LED is we take an LED, okay, positive, plus, minus, okay, and let me erase these things if possible. It looks like it will take some time. Okay, yeah, it's going to take some time, so I will just leave it the way it is. So you can ignore these things. Okay, just think about only I mean the brush. Okay, fine. I can make it a little widthy. How to increase the width? I don't know. Let's try this. This is too big. Whatever this is also too big. This is just fine. Okay, so I will take the wire in this. Which color is suitable for the wire now? Orange is not nice. Let's say purple. Okay, purple also. Which one I can take? Okay, let's go for the red. Not green again. Okay, fine. So I'm going to take an LED. So for the moment, I'm going to use the non-A prefixed pins. That means just pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah 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 blah. So let's say I'm going to use pin number 7. Okay, 7. So what I will do is normally what we do is we connect a resistor with the LED. Okay. So I will take a resistor and connect with the positive of the LED. Other side of the resistor, I take a wire, connect the wires one side here. So I will use the wire with the yellow color. Connect the wires one side here. Other side, I will bring it inside a particular pin. So I will put the wire inside the pin number 7. Okay, this is totally fine. So this is a basic LED connection. You should be knowing this. Otherwise, you can have a look how to connect a LED with the power source. You can Google like that and have a look. And the ground part, negative part of the LED should go to ground. So how can we ground it? We have few ground pins in the Arduino. You can see G and D. So you can take a wire from here and connect the ground part of the negative part of the LED with this G and D. So this is the basic LED connection. Now your LED is ready with the pin number 7 of the Arduino, and the other side is connected to ground. Okay, this is totally fine. Now we know this is an output scenario. So according to what we have seen, from pin number 7 we are supposed to give an output either on or off. Is that clear to you guys? That's fine. So I think we can stop from here before getting into the code. I will catch you up in the next video then as the continuity of this. Thank you guys.